Kia ora, how's it? This is Bus Life. I'm Nikki and this is my partner Paul.
And we live in a bus, this bus.
In 2019, we bought this bus to become our home because at the time we were facing rent increases and there were no other rentals available in the area. We couldn't afford to buy a house, so we bought our bus. This bus is a 10.5 metre 1996 Hino Rainbow. We've spent the last 5 years floating around the same area so Paul could keep his job, but in January 2023 we travelled to Te Waipuanamu o Aotearoa, the South Island of New Zealand, with no real plans and no real time frame or specific routes outlined. We travelled the motu, the island, with flexibility and spontaneity, and this is where we're going to document and share our journey. So after travelling from Wellington to Picton on the ferry, staying in Picton and then in Kaikoura, we made our way to Ōtautahi, Christchurch. It was a Friday morning when we left for Ōtautahi, or Christchurch, via the dump station at the NPD in Rangiora. Then we went out to the south side of Christchurch, near Rolleston, to the NZMCA Park at Whedon's. NZMCA parks are usually pretty standard, so often are a good landing point where you can then scope out other options for parking if needed from there. They're good because you usually know what you're in for: some space, basic facilities and security. And Whedon's NZMCA park was no different. Although it seemed like a sea of motorhomes on our arrival, we did find a suitable spot down the back, perfect for us. With Speedway tomorrow night, just down the road, we knew we would stay for a minimum of 2 nights here, and then from there we weren't quite sure, so I signed in for 2 nights. On our day 2 in Ōtautahi, or Christchurch, we went for a little look around where we were staying. We had a nosy at the massive industrial area in Rolleston, and we found a cute, quiet little playground, so we had a swing and lay on the grass under the shade of a tree, because man, it was a hot day today. Early afternoon I started to prepare our kai for Speedway, some chicken and salad rolls, some yummy snacks and treats, and some cold drinks. Racing started at 5:30, so we were there at about 4 because it's important to get a good spot. It was a good night's racing, and this is a really well organised track. Day 3 in Ōtautahi, or Christchurch, was a Sunday, and we decided to go into the city. You can't be in Christchurch City without recognising the impact of the 22nd of February 2011 earthquakes. Our hearts go out to everybody who was directly affected by those quakes. Seeing the city still being rebuilt was eye-opening, but also somewhat reassuring. Christchurch is a very beautiful city, full of creative and artistic flair and history and just beautiful artworks and structures and sculptures, and all with the Avon River running right through the middle of it. Anyway, we had a nosy around, grabbed a coffee, and then we went down to New Regent Street, which is very cool, quirky, creative and unique. Contemplated getting relationship signifying tattoos and then decided to not to, which was actually a bit of a shame, but we'll get them one day. In the early afternoon we called it a day and headed back home to our bus, where we met our neighbours and joined them for an afternoon drink, and then we had crumb schnitzel for dinner with taties and salad. On our day 4, Monday, we didn't really know what our plan was, so we spent the morning deciding what we were up to stay in Ōtautahi or Christchurch, or to move on. We weren't sure. Ōtautahi has 3 speedway tracks: Ruapuna, Moore Park and Woodford Glen. We knew we weren't going to make it to Moore Park because they had a meeting on when we were at Ruapuna, which was a bit of a shame, especially since my cousin was racing sidecars there, but we're going to see him race in Invercargill, so all is well. Anyway, so when we looked at the Speedway calendar, we saw that Woodford Glen was racing next Saturday. We certainly didn't feel like we'd seen enough of Ōtautahi yet, so we decided we'd stay for the whole week and go to Woodford Glen Speedway next Saturday and then head off south after that. That afternoon we went for a nosy around Littleton and Governor's Bay. Day 5 was a pretty quiet, chill day, a bus day shall we call it. We contemplated moving to another park, perhaps closer to Woodford Glen for the following Saturday, but then we decided to stay at Whedon's NZMCA, so paid up until Sunday. Our day 6 was a Wednesday, and we went back to the city because we wanted to check out the Buskers Festival. It was a fond memory from when I visited all those years ago. We had a look at the Riverside Market, got a sweet treat, and then wandered off to watch some buskers. And then we spotted the e-scooters, which we hadn't been on these before, and decided to give them a go. And oh my God, these were so much fun. Wow, what a cool way to see a city. We went along the Avon, we went over to Margaret Mayhe's playground, around to each of the buskers stages, and we checked out some beautiful artwork and sculptures around the place. Such fun. On day 7, we put a load of washing on at the liquid laundromat and then popped around the digital RV because we wanted to get a bit of a battery health check, and they said they could see us this afternoon. We picked up the washing, went to the supermarket and then headed back to the bus, unpacked the groceries, hung the washing, had some lunch and then took the bus out. We dumped our waste while we were out, refilled our tanks, and then we went into digital RV, which cost us $50, and the 2 young guys there gave us their time, answered our questions and reassured us in the setup. So, tū meki guys, thank you. Day 8, Friday. A chill day today. Did some cleaning. We went out for a nosy at Lake Ellesmere, had a nosy around Rolleston. Not a lot actually. Also, we discovered there's drag racing on Sunday, not far from where we're staying, so we've decided we're going to check them out and that we'll continue heading south on Monday. On Saturday, we hit the supermarket for our Speedway dinner and snack, did another load of washing, sheets this time, filled the car with fuel, and in the evening we headed for Woodford Glen Speedway. We were in for the Debbie Webster Super Cup with super stocks, super saloons and modifieds. And it was an epic night of racing. On Sunday, we signed in for our last night at the NZMCA Park. We made our picnic lunch and set off for the drags. And it was another scorcher of a day. We'd been blessed with such great weather while we were here, with sunshine on the daily. Some would say too hot. Anyway, the drags were cool. We went for a wander through the pits and then grabbed a shady spot on the hill. We didn't stay for the full day's racing, but we got our fix. We got back to the bus and just semi-prepared for our departure tomorrow, just a light clean and tidy, because no doubt we'll be leaving here nice and early in the morning. Where we'd be stopping next we had yet to decide, but our first stops will most definitely be the dump station and the fuel station to top up with diesel. But you'll have to come back for that and join us on the next leg of our trip for some swims, some steampunk and our discovery of icicle candles. Oh, and hey, thanks for being here. If you're enjoying watching our bus life stuff, let us know. And of course, feel free to ask us any bus life or motorhoming questions that you might have or that watching our journey might raise for you. Ka kite anō. See you again soon.